Your business does not happen by accident. You have to have processes and procedures in place to make sure that everything gets done when it's supposed to. Does that sound a little overwhelming? It doesn't have to be. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Okay, here's the show. Welcome to More Than a Few Words, a marketing conversation for business owners. MTFW is part of the Digital Toolbox, and this is your host, Lorraine Ball. And today, we're going to talk about systems. We're going to talk about how to create systems and automate processes in your business. And to help me have that conversation is Brittni Schroeder. Brittni is a certified life and business coach, and she helps female entrepreneurs launch and level up their businesses. She has worked as a photographer for over 10 years. She's also owned and operated Mosey Magazine up until 2017. And her work has been featured in the Wall Street Journal, Good Morning America, as well as several other publications. She has worked in the nonprofit sector for more than 10 years and has recently founded her own nonprofit called called the Compassion Club. She lives in Houston, Texas. Brittni, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
I am really excited to have you here and to have this conversation because I'm sort of a process geek. But let's start with the basics. Why do you think it's so important to have processes and automation in your business?
Well, when I'm coaching my clients, so one of the things that I always talk to them about is you are only one person and you can't do everything. And if you have one offer, if you have these big goals and you want to scale, you have to have systems and automations in order to scale your business. So I always say, that first year you have all these little wins when you start a business. You get a website, you start getting clients. Your second year, you are like starting to invest a lot. And then your third year, you're hopefully, if you're consistent, you're going to see growth. But, they often say that small businesses fail for two reasons. One of them is they don't get enough business. And the second one is they get too much business and they can't keep up. They have bad customer service. They start to lose because they're overwhelmed. So systems and automations are essential and crucial for growth.
I absolutely agree with you. And I think there are several places where they come in really handy. So, for example, as you bring on employees, how does having systems really help when you're bringing on those new employees?
Well, to begin with, when you're starting a business, especially if you're an entrepreneur, you're probably doing everything on your own at the beginning. So while you have that time, this is ideal to set aside some time to do your SOPs or your standard operating procedures. Get a list of things and kind of walk them through every single thing that you do, from posting on your social media to checking your email. If you divide your business up into these different portions, like I said, like social media can be one, like onboarding can be another one, and write down the process of this is what happens first, this is what happens second, third. I even go a step further and I will like screen record, I will write it out, a checklist out of my processes, but then I also screen record the process as I'm doing it. That way, as you scale and you're ready to hire a team or get a VA, then you're not having to like reinvent the wheel and train every single time because you have these procedures and they are cut and dry. They're easy to follow. You have I'm a big checklist person. I'm very analytical. So I'm all about the checklist, but then you have these checklists and you have these recordings. And so, especially as an entrepreneur, like a VA or a team, you might have some turnover, especially at first. And you don't want to spend your time like training and retraining and retraining. You have those standard operating procedures in place. So that is, that's going to be one of the first steps you do for systems.
I love the suggestion of the screen recording because I find myself doing that a lot for my employees and for my clients when I'm doing something for them, but they're going to take it over. Do you have some favorite screen recording tools that you use?
Well, I have a MacBook Pro, and so just use QuickTime. And then I screen record that. Sometimes I'll pull it into Premiere Rush if I need to do like, here's a box or here's an arrow, just to like be more specific. Because it's kind of what I do with way that I coach people. I'm very techie. And so I do a lot of tutorials. And so a lot of times I do these tutorials and then my client uses them or my VA uses them, but it's, like I've taken the time to like step by step, like really create like really good tutorials, because in the long run, it will save you so much time if you put forth a little bit more effort.
Absolutely. So you have these procedures written down, and you said you're a techie. Do you have other tech tools that help you remind you or standardize some of those procedures?
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of really great programs out there. So, and I think it's like personal preference, because I'm not going to say, I think it's funny because as I've like, I've been an entrepreneur for 15, 16
Mhm.
years, and I've pivoted, I've done nonprofit work, I've done photography. And so I've had several different mentors, and I find that you kind of use what your mentors use, and so like one of the programs like I use for like a CRM, I really like Airtable.
Mhm.
It's a great program. It's like, you can do forums, you can do like status updates, you can collab with people. It's just got a lot of like really great features. So I use that for, like my client management and leads, and even in my own business marketing. Like I have, like different like tabs and tables for different like areas of my business. So
Mhm.
that's one of them. I like a lot of techie programs, so I have a few, but that's probably my favorite for like just like management.
Sweet. Yeah, we went through a number with the agency, and kind of as our needs evolved, we changed
Mhm.
them. And I think that was really important. Was the procedure stayed the same, but the tools we used kept changing as the tools got better.
Yeah, yeah. And I think too it's different because in every industry you're going to have different needs, And
Mhm.
so and there's some like programs or software programs that are specific for your niche. And so they have features that not every like program has. So I think
Mm.
finding the program that fits all your needs, and it's something that is easy to use, and it works for your business.
Absolutely. So, we talked about procedures, and we touched a little bit on this idea of automation and letting technology do some of the work for you.
Mhm.
As I'm trying to move into the realm of automating some of what I
Mhm.
do, what should
Mhm.
I keep in mind? What should I be
So,
thinking about?
okay, so I'll start at like base level.
Hmm.
So what this is what I do with like my clients when I'm trying to help them automate is I have like a worksheet or a PDF that I send them, and write down what is your client experience, from start to end, and be very specific. So like from first contact to like you've completed the service or a product or whatever, and write down every single step. So it could be like an introduction email, it could be sending an invoice, it could be getting a testimonial, it could be it could be like a number of different things. But what is the process? And write that down. I'm very visual too, so
Hmm.
write it down, and then like baby steps. Okay, what can I automate with this? Is this something that I'm doing over and over? And if it's something you're doing over and over, you can automate it for the masses. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I love that idea of really looking at your customer experience, because there are a lot of other things going on in your business, but really, if you can identify things that you automate there, you know that your customer is going to be taken care of. And
yeah,
then through that, then you can start looking at maybe the employee experience, whether it's onboarding or other pieces, but starting with your customers really great.
yeah, for
Brittany,
sure.
that's awesome. Any last tip or suggestion as we're winding down?
Just one more thing about just like the client experience. I love automation. People might say like, "Oh, it's not personal," and how I use like my automation is just to make sure that like my clients don't get lost. It's
Mm-hmm.
really important that all of our clients feel seen and heard. But sometimes life gets in the way, and like sometimes we're out of town, or sometimes we have other things going. And what those automations and those systems do is they just make sure that every client is getting like the golden ticket like
Mm-hmm.
experience.
Absolutely. I love I love the idea of automation supplementing the
Hmm.
personal, not replacing the personal.
Absolutely. Hmm.
Awesome. Brittni, this has been fabulous. Thank you so much for being a part of the show.
Thank you for having me.
We're going to encourage everyone to check out BrittniSchroeder.com. There will be a link in the show notes. And I really hope that they'll check out all the things you've got going on. This has been wonderful content. Thanks again. If you've enjoyed today's conversation, if you'd like to find more resources for your business, be sure to check out digitaltoolbox.club. Look for MTFW wherever you listen to podcasts. This has been another episode of More Than a Few Words. Thanks for listening.